Good morning, everyone. So, this is the third session of your class. Last class, we have discussed about the concept of nested structure, array of structures, self referential structure, and also the concept of union. In the union concept, we have to define how to define the union and accessing the elements of the union. So, these are all some of the concepts regarding the structure and the union. So, in our first chapter, the next, let me know about the pointer. So, in the pointer, what do you mean by pointer? A pointer is a variable that holds a memory address, usually the location of another variable in the memory. On the other hand, a pointer is a variable which holds the address of the another variable. This is the definition of the pointer. Pointer are a very powerful concept in the C and also the C++. So it has the some of the advantages. So that the advantages of the pointer is that the first point is that it's possible to write the efficient program. By using the pointer, we have to write the sum of the programs by using the C and the C++ concept. So for example, int p which is equal to pointer variable of the ptr. So this is one general example. So then second point is that memory is utilized properly. So in the concept of the pointer, this is the second advantages. The third is dynamically allocate and deallocate the memory. So by using the pointers, dynamically allocating the memory by using the operator new and deallocating the memory by using the operator delete. This is the third point. The fourth point is that easy to deal with the hardware components. Then the last point is that establishes communication between the program and the data. These are all some of the advantages of the pointers. The next concept is memory representation of pointer. Memory means, what do you mean by memory? The memory is storage of the data. Memory is organized as the array of bytes. So in the first of all, what do you mean by byte? The byte is a basic storage and accessible unit in the memory. So first of all, before going to a byte, what do you mean by bit? A bit is a binary digit. So what is a byte? A byte is a sequence of 8-bit. You can call it as a byte. Same as like that, a byte is a basic storage and accessible unit in the memory. Each byte is identified by the unique number. That number we can call it as the address. So that what is the address? Each byte is identifiable by a unique number is called as the address. So for example, suppose we have the 1 KB of memory. Since the 1 KB which is equal to 1024 byte, the memory can be viewed as the array of locations of size the 1024 with subscript range from the 0 to 1023. Then the 0 represents the address of the first location and the 1 represents the address of the second location, and same as like that up to so on the 1023. This representation is the address of the last location. So this is the one general example for the memory representation of the pointers. So this is the diagrammatic representation. In this diagram, the labeling as an address and the location. The address is the 0 to and the 1023. The location which is and the content of that addresses. Then let me know about the declaration and the initialization of pointer. How to declare the pointer variable and how to initialize a pointer. So here the general form of the declaration of the pointer is that data type space star variable name. So this is the general form of the declaration of the pointer. So here the data type is the basic data types such as an int, float, char and the double. These are all the valid data type which are supported by the C++. And the variable name, before going to a variable name, that is preceded by the star symbol. The star symbol which is denoted as it is a pointer variable. So that the variable name is the name of the pointer variable. The presence of the star which is indicated that it is a pointer variable. Here, the defining a pointer variable. How to define a pointer variable and how to identify the pointer variable. For example, int space star IPTR. Here, the IPTR, it is declared to be a pointer variable of the type of int. Same as like that, float space star PTR. So, FPTR, it is a pointer variable of the float data type. The next example is an char space star PTR. Here the CPTR, it is declared to be a pointer variable of the character data type. This is how to define a pointer variable. The next is a pointer variable assignment. So in this the concept, we can assigning the address of the variable to a pointer. For example, int number equal to 25. Here the int is a data type, number is an ordinary variable which is equal to 25. The 25 is a number which is assigned to the variable number. Then the next is an int space star IPTR. Here int is a data type, the star IPTR is a pointer variable. Then the next line is a IPTR which is equal to address symbol ampersand symbol number, so that the addressing is denoted by the ampersand symbol, so that the ampersand of number which is equal to IPTR, so that the ampersand is an addressing operator which is assigned to the ordinary variable. That means the address of number equal to IPTR. The address of the number is accessing or assigning to an IPTR. The next is the address of operator, that is ampersand symbol. This symbol is a unary operator that returns the memory address of its operand. So for example, if var is an integer variable, then ampersand symbol of var, it is an address of that variable. This operator has the same precedence and right to left associativity as the other unary operator. You should read the ampersand symbol or the address operator as the address of, which means address of variable will be read, that is an address of var. So for example, int number which is equal to 25, int star IPTR, then IPTR which is equal to address of operator number. So here the address of number which is initialized or assigned to the variable IPTR. Next, the second operator is a pointer operator, that is, or the indirection operator. The pointer operator which is also called as an indirection operator. So in the pointer concept, we have the two operators. One is an address of operator that is denoted by the ampersand symbol. The second is a pointer operator which is denoted as a star symbol. The second operator is an indirection operator. It is denoted by the star. So it is also a unary operator that returns the value of the variable which is located at the address specified by its operand. So for example, int number which is equal to 25. Next line, the int star IPTR which is IPTR, then the semicolon. So here the star, it is denoted as it is the pointer variable which is also called as pointer operator, which is also called as an indirection operator. So here is an example program for a pointer. Ash include stdio.h. Here is the stdio.h. It is an header file which includes the sum of the classes or the functions of the stdio.h concept. So in our program, the printf, it is a one function which is consisting of which holding on the header file that is called stdio.h. So that we have to use the header file stdio.h. The next line is a void main concept. Every C and C++ program, the execution must be starts with the main function. So that void main parenthesis, opening parenthesis and the closing parenthesis. Then opening the block int var, int star ptr, int val. So it has a three variables, two ordinary variable and one pointer variable. var and val, these two are the ordinary variable. Star ptr, it is a pointer variable. The next is, so this is the declaration part. The next is the initialization part. var, which is equal to 3000, ptr equal to ampersand symbol of var, and val equal to star ptr. So 3000 is the value which assigned to the variable var, star var which is assigned to the variable ptr, and the next line val which is equal to star ptr. The star ptr, it is a pointer variable which is initialized to the variable val. Then the print the values. So printf value of var, the percentage of t which is equal to var. The printf value of ptr equal to a percentage of t, that is a ptr. Then the printf of the value of val, the percentage of d, so that is a val. So the output is that the value of var, that is a 3000, and the value of ptr, that is called as the address of that the value, and the value of the val, that is also called as a 3000. So this is the output of this program. Then the next concept is dynamical allocation of memory. The dynamic allocation of the memory, which is done by the two operators new and the delete. The new is the operator which is used for dynamically allocating the memory, and the delete is an operator which is used for the deallocating the memory. The first operator is the new operator. The new operator is used for the allocating the memory for the different variables. So here is one example. To allocating the memory of the type of an integer, int star iptr, which is equal to new int. So here is by using the new operator which is used for the allocating the memory. So here is one example, int star p number, then the p number which is equal to new space int. So here the first line declares the pointer p number, and the second line then allocating the memory for an integer, and then makes the n number points to this the new memory allocation. So this is one general example for a new operator. The second operator is the delete pointer. So delete operator which is used for the deallocating the memory for the different variables. So here is the another example. Releasing the dynamic memory, we have to use the operator delete. So delete space iptr, this is a general format for the deallocating the memory. So to free the dynamic array memory, the syntax is that delete the subscript dptr. To free the or to deallocating or the to free any dynamic structure, the syntax is that delete student. So this is the concept of the new and delete operator. The next is the differences between the static allocation of memory and the dynamic allocation of memory. The static means it is a fixed. The dynamic means it always changes. So these are all the some of the differences between the static and also a dynamic allocation of the memory. The first difference is that in the static, memory is allocated before the execution of the program. That means it's during a compilation time. The dynamic allocation of the memory is allocated during the execution of the program, so that at the time of the run. This is the first difference. The second difference, which means that the no memory allocation or the deallocation are performed during the execution. As in the case of the dynamic allocation of the memory's bindings are established and also destroyed during the execution. Third difference is that variables remain permanently allocated. As in the case of the dynamic allocation of the memory, the allocation that is allocated only when the program until it's active. The last difference is that implemented using the stacks and heaps in the concept of static allocation of the memory. And the dynamic allocation of the memory, it is implemented using the data segments. Then let me know about the memory allocation functions. The memory allocation functions, it consisting of the number of functions like malloc, calloc, realloc, then free. The first function is that malloc. The malloc, this function is used to allocating the memory dynamically. The declaration of the malloc function, which is that void space star malloc within the bracket size underscore t, the space size. This is the declaration of the function malloc. This function is used to allocate the memory dynamically. The argument size, it specifies that the number of bytes to be allocated. On the success of an malloc function, it returns a pointer to the first byte of the allocated memory. Then it's return the pointer is of the type void, then which can be a typecast to an appropriate type of an pointer. Then the second function is calloc. The calloc, it's a function which is used for allocate the multiple blocks of an memory. The declaration of the calloc function is that void space star calloc opening bracket size of t n comma size of t then size then bracket close semicolon. So this is a general syntax. The first argument specifies the number of the blocks and the second one specifies the size of the each block. The memory allocated by the calloc, it is initialized to an 0. The third function is that realloc. The realloc is a function which is used to change the size of the memory block. The general syntax for the declaration of the realloc is that void space star realloc opening bracket void star ptr comma size of t then the new size closing bracket semicolon. So here this function of the realloc is used to change the size of the memory block. It alters the size of the memory block without losing the old data. This function takes the two arguments. The first is a pointer, that block of the memory that was previously allocated by the malloc or the calloc, and the second one is a new size for that block. The last function is free. The free is a function which is used for the deleting or the releasing the memory space allocated dynamically. The declaration of a free function is that void space free opening bracket void star p then closing bracket. This function is used to releasing the memory spaces allocated dynamically. The memory is released by the free function is made available to an heap again and can be used for some other purpose. We should not try to free the any memory location that was not allocated by the malloc, calloc and also an realloc. So this is about dynamically allocating the memory by using the several functions. So this is the end of this session. Thank you.